So what we have to do now is give this pond a clean up and get it all set up and engaged. Yum.
Your wife being nice, you know, huh? Tell me you got that on video.
Yeah, she's good, thanks. Oh, the smell of this pond is so bad. It's like super bad. Yeah, you look nice, Dean. So I'm having to replace this filter because as filters get old, the plastic gets really brittle. And then as soon as I went to I touched that and it snapped, which is obviously a problem. So old filters get very brittle and even touching them is enough to snap them. So with the UV sterilizer, which is in the top of this unit, and that's what that cord is plugged into, you don't want to turn that on for about a month because you want to let the good bacteria grow in the filter. And then when the good bacteria is well established in the filter, you then can plug that in and then the UV will help to keep the pond nice and clean. So inside this head, there's a UV sterilizer, which is a tube that needs to be replaced about once a year. So the pump's running nicely now. So the pump's running in there, it goes around there, and it picks up in there, goes back into the pump, shoots it back into the filter. And the filter can be backwashed. To backwash the filter, and you open that valve there, then you switch that to backwash. Then there's a little handle that attaches onto this and spins that around, which I'll just show you. Now there's a timer here. It's really important this timer is not engaged because the filter has to be running all the time. So we do not want this timer on because the timer assumably was for this water feature. But we have a filter running and the filter needs to be 24/7. It's really important there's surface agitation here for the fish. So that's very, very important. We don't want to fill the pond up too much, otherwise there's not enough surface agitation. And the fish need surface agitation if they're going to survive. So basically what we want to do now is we'll put a little bit of fish in there in a few days' time once the water's stabilised. And then what I'm going to do right now is add a little bit of water ager. So that'll take the chlorine and stuff out of tap water. This needs to be added every single time new water goes in the pond. Otherwise you can get chlorine in your tap water. I'm going to add some KH because Sydney tap water often has no carbonate in it. And I'm going to add some GH salts. Now, it's really important that every now and then, whether it be every 3 to 6 months, and definitely any time you get new fish, to grab your phone, make a video so we can see what's going on in the pond. We want to see the surface agitation. We want to see the filters. We want to see what the fish are doing. And most of all, we want to see any bits and pieces you've got, including fish food. So show us all that and then bring us a sample of water down to Majestic Aquariums. I definitely never want you to buy fish unless you bring us a sample of water. And about every 3 to 6 months, bring us a sample and a video anyway, just so we can look over it. Because over time, I might find that your KH level's too low. I might find your GH level's too low. Then I can tell you what to do to fix it. So that's really quite important. So what's going to happen now is good bacteria is going to grow all over this substrate. Good bacteria is going to grow in the filter. It's quite common at the start for the water to be a little bit cloudy, but that should clear up absolutely crystal clear. In winter, I want the fish hardly ever fed, once a week maximum, and just a tiny little bit, because when it's cold, their digestive system almost stops. Now, in summer, I probably want them fed about 2 times a week, and I want them fed good quality food like New Life Spectrum's probiotics or Danichi. And then I want you to look at the belly of the fish. So if you look down on the fish and you see their eyes and they're holding a good healthy body to their tail, then the fish are good. If they've got a big fat belly, you're feeding too much. And if their belly is sunken or it goes in, then you're not feeding enough. And once again, when you bring us the water sample and the video, we can look at the video of the fish and we can tell you if you're feeding enough or too much. Now, as far as topping up the pond's concerned, the pond is going to evaporate down. So make sure you add some water agent whenever you top it up. And then you do want to do water changes on a semi-regular basis. The easiest way to do a water change is just by doing a backwash on your filter, and then the water level in the pond will go down. And if you are changing the water, you do need to add a bit of KH, a bit of GH, and some water agent when you are changing the water. And once again, if in doubt, bring a sample of water down to Majestic Aquariums, and we can talk you through it. It is very, very easy. The only way you have problems is if you clean the filter with tap water, or if you feed too much, or if you have too many fish, or if you change too much water. I never want you to change more than about a quarter at a time. But this is a very, very easy pond to look after if you follow this basic information. Okay, so what's going on now is the water is running, and then in about a month's time, it would be good to give the filter a backwash. Now, the way you give the filter a backwash is you open that tap, you switch this to here, and then you can grab this handle and put that on there. Then you can spin that around, and that turns the sponge that's on the inside. Now, about once every 6 months to once every year, I would recommend turning the pump off, opening up these 2 unions, pull the filter out, and then give the filter a good clean, because there's sponges inside here, and you want to clean the sponges in water that you've removed from the pond itself. You never want to clean the filter in tap water, because tap water contains chlorine, and the good bacteria in the filter is killed by the chlorine. So once again, in about a month's time, we want to switch on this UV sterilizer. Then we'll see that light up, which means the UV will be on, and that will keep the water nice and clear. Then we want to just backwash the filter about once a month. And then about every 6 to 12 months, we want to pull the filter out, give it a clean in water you remove from the pond, and away we go. Storage. So that's currently backwashing, because I don't want this to be so high that that's in the water. I want the water to agitate underneath this. Now, I cannot stress enough how important this water movement is, because the fact that that water is moving is what agitates the surface. What we don't want is the water to be fully flat, because if the water is fully flat, then the gas will not exchange and we cannot have many fish in there. And that means your oxygen level and CO2 level, your oxygen level will be down, your redox potential will be down, and your CO2 level will be up. That means you'll get more algae, and your fish you'll not be able to have as many fish. So this breaking of the surface is something I want you very, very aware of. And when you bring the video down to Majestic Aquarium, that's something I want to see.